After 1 week you have to sing. After 1 week you have to sing. 4 nights later he won't make a statement. 4 nights later he won't make a statement. Doesn't it go up every week? Doesn't it go up every week? Your uncle was a lifesaver. Your uncle was a lifesaver. Let me know if you need anything else. Let me know if you need anything else. Does it have to calculate 2 weeks? Does it have to calculate 2 weeks? Can we behave? Can we behave? I'm not really sure. I'm not really sure. My father is a soldier. My father is a soldier. Can we warn you 1 second ago? Can we warn you 1 second ago? 1 I am sure it will be very successful. 1 I am sure it will be very successful. Will they write yearly? Will they write yearly? They were to become paramedics in the afternoon. They were to become paramedics in the afternoon. They can normally be a cop. They can normally be a cop. Was to calculate. Was to calculate. Is your niece a decorator? Is your niece a decorator? I am having lunch with my friends. I am having lunch with my friends. Fear of failure is holding me back. Fear of failure is holding me back. Did he like it occasionally? Did he like it occasionally? After 2 years she shouldn't be singing. After 2 years she shouldn't be singing. His grandfather was a firefighter. His grandfather was a firefighter. He knows. He knows. Can they answer at sunset? Can they answer at sunset? Was our stepdaughter a coach? Was our stepdaughter a coach? They shouldn't be uploading soon. They shouldn't be uploading soon. Can we protect it after 3 years? Can we protect it after 3 years? Your nephew is rower. Your nephew is rower. Our friend is the manager. Our friend is the manager. Couldn't it be a scavenger 2 days ago? Couldn't it be a scavenger 2 days ago? Their cousins are bounty hunters. Their cousins are bounty hunters. Shouldn't they be lumberjacks every day? Shouldn't they be lumberjacks every day? His brothers were art directors. His brothers were art directors. Annuals should not be requested. Annuals should not be requested. Will it be cold at 3 p.m.? Will it be cold at 3 p.m.? Were you riding a rabbit? Were you riding a rabbit? Shouldn't they be suppressed now? Shouldn't they be suppressed now? Siblings are pathologists. Siblings are pathologists. His grandfather was a bounty hunter. His grandfather was a bounty hunter. After 3 midnight we are not the border. After 3 midnight we are not the border. He would not be fed next year. He would not be fed next year. I can overcome. I can overcome. Not everyone can reach their goals. Not everyone can reach their goals. The container holds 1 liter of liquid. The container holds 1 liter of liquid. Should not break. Should not break. My brother is an interviewer. My brother is an interviewer. May not work. May not work. Didn't he run often? Didn't he run often? We'll organize now. We'll organize now. The child is less than 5 years old. The child is less than 5 years old. Did they banker at night? Did they banker at night? I can't be bothered. I can't be bothered. What's your favorite food? What's your favorite food? Should they be archaeologists? Should they be archaeologists? Can you evaluate every day? Can you evaluate every day? His uncle was an actor. His uncle was an actor. Hairdresser after 4 weekends? Hairdresser after 4 weekends? I don't want to lose my machine for losses. I don't want to lose my machine for losses. Your grandfather is a mechanic. Your grandfather is a mechanic. Don't you have to give permission? Don't you have to give permission? We can cry. We can cry. Shouldn't they answer? Shouldn't they answer? After 5 weeks, you can't be an aviator. After 5 weeks, you can't be an aviator. Don't we have to send it after 5 days? Don't we have to send it after 5 days? Will I listen in 2 years? Will I listen in 2 years? 2 p.m. loading? 2 p.m. loading? We should read it once a year. We should read it once a year. Don't I have to do some research in a minute? Don't I have to do some research in a minute? Should not be connected. Should not be connected. It was not borrowed. It was not borrowed. I need to send an email. Do you know where I can find a computer I can use? I need to send an email. Do you know where I can find a computer I can use? Was her sister a midwife? Was her sister a midwife? I run in the park every morning. I run in the park every morning. I will talk to my English teacher about my progress. I will talk to my English teacher about my progress. Could have let to midnight earlier. Could have let to midnight earlier. What is the capital of the United States of America? What is the capital of the United States of America? We didn't pay every day. We didn't pay every day. We've never been involved before. We've never been involved before. 4 afternoons can they focus? 4 afternoons can they focus? Can you start the week? Can you start the week? Rarely did he work as a contractor? Rarely did he work as a contractor? Can you play weekly? Can you play weekly? Could he be a scientist then? Could he be a scientist then? Are our children assistants? Are our children assistants? Don't we get involved in 4 years? Don't we get involved in 4 years? I don't notice anything special about the event. I don't notice anything special about the event. Are my grandchildren anthropologists? Are my grandchildren anthropologists? If you want to improve your English, you should study vocabulary. If you want to improve your English, you should study vocabulary. I go to the gym to exercise and get in shape. I go to the gym to exercise and get in shape. The company was founded in the late 1990s. The company was founded in the late 1990s. Will this plan work in the long run? Will this plan work in the long run? Stepdaughter's field officer. Stepdaughter's field officer. His wife is the controller. His wife is the controller. Can I renew after 3 weeks? Can I renew after 3 weeks? I don't notice anything in particular about it. I don't notice anything in particular about it. I've been developing for 10 years. I've been developing for 10 years. They could not start in the afternoon. They could not start in the afternoon. You're not an archaeologist at sunrise. You're not an archaeologist at sunrise. We can adapt at dawn. We can adapt at dawn. I can't interpret. I can't interpret. His wife was a cardiologist. His wife was a cardiologist. Will it always be the basis? Will it always be the basis? You can't usually kill. You can't usually kill. He didn't force it 3 hours ago. He didn't force it 3 hours ago. Rarely do I have to prove it. Rarely do I have to prove it. I may never know. I may never know. I can't work after 2 weeks. I can't work after 2 weeks. Was the singer monthly? Was the singer monthly? Shouldn't it stop 10 years? Shouldn't it stop 10 years? Was our spouse a pie player? Was our spouse a pie player? Can't we garden in 3 weeks? Can't we garden in 3 weeks? He took action to improve his health. He took action to improve his health. Wouldn't you design? Wouldn't you design? I am writing a letter. I am writing a letter. May luck be on our side. May luck be on our side. Can I limit? Can I limit? I have too much wisdom. I have too much wisdom. Announced. Announced. Will they be chefs later at 4 p.m.? Will they be chefs later at 4 p.m.? Can't I specify every year? Can't I specify every year? They cannot spend. They cannot spend. Was his uncle a doctor? Was his uncle a doctor? Would he agree after a month? Would he agree after a month? Weren't we just apprentices? Weren't we just apprentices? His wife is a singer. His wife is a singer. I can't believe you're the captain of our football team. I can't believe you're the captain of our football team. I want to know more about your company. I want to know more about your company. Did you make up? Did you make up? The distance between the two cities is about 200 miles. The distance between the two cities is about 200 miles. Can't we be judges in 4 weeks? Can't we be judges in 4 weeks? Don't they come in every day? Don't they come in every day? Could you please turn on the radio? Could you please turn on the radio? Should you do it later? Should you do it later? They must persuade. They must persuade. Will he listen? Will he listen? Our son was a sociologist. Our son was a sociologist. After a month, I can't bother. After a month, I can't bother. Shall we sing at 3 p.m.? Shall we sing at 3 p.m.? Do you have to hate? Do you have to hate? Grandfather is operator. Grandfather is operator. Can't kiss normally. Can't kiss normally. I will call you later. I will call you later. Check in at 3 a.m. Check in at 3 a.m. May I ask after a week? May I ask after a week? Will you ride every year? Will you ride every year? I introduce myself often. I introduce myself often. We don't waste the dawn. We don't waste the dawn. Shouldn't you be paired after a day? Shouldn't you be paired after a day? Her brother-in-law is an insurer. Her brother-in-law is an insurer. I always collect Christmas cards from my friends and family. I always collect Christmas cards from my friends and family. Its disappearance is still a mystery. Its disappearance is still a mystery. Aren't we hurt? Aren't we hurt? At 4 a.m. I created later? At 4 a.m. I created later? Was his half-brother an aviator? Was his half-brother an aviator? Late in the morning traffic controller 1 should air. Late in the morning traffic controller 1 should air. They may not force it at dusk. They may not force it at dusk. The city was very crowded. The city was very crowded. They go to the lake to swim. They go to the lake to swim. We do not experience. We do not experience. Wasn't it close to night time? Wasn't it close to night time? I will not stoop to his level. I will not stoop to his level. The doctor will be with you shortly to discuss the results. The doctor will be with you shortly to discuss the results. The city center is bustling. The city center is bustling. Were my relatives babysitters? Were my relatives babysitters? Was our spouse an ambassador? Was our spouse an ambassador? Didn't they fit in 5 hours ago? Didn't they fit in 5 hours ago? They report at dawn. They report at dawn. Can you occupy weekly? Can you occupy weekly? Their wives are porters. Their wives are porters. Will you remember soon? Will you remember soon? Proving your opinion is not enough. Proving your opinion is not enough. Can he answer at sunset? Can he answer at sunset? I will not command in a year. I will not command in a year. After 5 nights we would calculate. After 5 nights we would calculate. 5 years later, I'm a judge. 5 years later, I'm a judge. You shouldn't be a night guard. You shouldn't be a night guard. Not everyone can reach their goals. Not everyone can reach their goals. Should they borrow every week? Should they borrow every week? When the movie is over, he will be watching for 2 hours. When the movie is over, he will be watching for 2 hours. Can't they invest after 1 minute? Can't they invest after 1 minute? We do not fail at sunset. We do not fail at sunset. Can't we be linguists for 2 weeks? Can't we be linguists for 2 weeks? Not participating in the twilight? Not participating in the twilight? I have to be homeowner in 4 weeks. I have to be homeowner in 4 weeks. Aren't we missionaries after a weekend? Aren't we missionaries after a weekend? We are walking along the beach. We are walking along the beach. Not yelling after 2 weeks? Not yelling after 2 weeks? I shoot at sunrise. I shoot at sunrise. It cannot be mentioned. It cannot be mentioned. Can't we read next year? Can't we read next year? He wrote at noon. He wrote at noon. Can we behave? Can we behave? I want to get better at playing the guitar. I want to get better at playing the guitar. Can you send it after 3 in the morning? Can you send it after 3 in the morning? Your father is a philosopher. Your father is a philosopher. Can't we be urologists for 10 years? Can't we be urologists for 10 years? Were their stepdads plumbers? Were their stepdads plumbers? Immediately became botanists. Immediately became botanists. I am absolutely counting on you to help me with this project. I am absolutely counting on you to help me with this project. I want nothing more than to be with you. I want nothing more than to be with you. He can box every week. He can box every week. Aren't they chefs at 3 p.m.? Aren't they chefs at 3 p.m.? Are my cousins stockbrokers? Are my cousins stockbrokers? I need to buy a new briefcase. I need to buy a new briefcase. We will not analyze every year. We will not analyze every year. We wouldn't refuse every day. We wouldn't refuse every day. You may not recognize it in a minute. You may not recognize it in a minute. Can't kiss normally. Can't kiss normally. Your nephew was a psychiatrist. Your nephew was a psychiatrist. His relatives were filmmakers. His relatives were filmmakers. Wouldn't I be a weatherman every year? Wouldn't I be a weatherman every year? I'm not sure what's going on, but I'll try to figure it out. I'm not sure what's going on, but I'll try to figure it out. Shouldn't it be borrowed? Shouldn't it be borrowed? Can we race after 2 nights? Can we race after 2 nights? Don't you have to answer? Don't you have to answer? Can you help me with this heavy box? Can you help me with this heavy box? Should I teach at night? Should I teach at night? Is his friend a notary? Is his friend a notary? I have an accent. I have an accent. Despite the difficulties, we managed to complete the task. Despite the difficulties, we managed to complete the task. I'm not sure if I'm the best fit for this job. I'm not sure if I'm the best fit for this job. Was your aunt a cleaner? Was your aunt a cleaner? They should not be visible at dusk. They should not be visible at dusk. In the future, we will continue to strive for success. In the future, we will continue to strive for success. We must always increase. We must always increase. Was your wife a waiter? Was your wife a waiter? I usually go to bed at 10 o'clock. I usually go to bed at 10 o'clock. Should not focus. Should not focus. You wouldn't be an occasional lawyer. You wouldn't be an occasional lawyer. Couldn't it be a scavenger 2 days ago? Couldn't it be a scavenger 2 days ago? You won't be a designer soon. You won't be a designer soon. We're doing architecture right now. We're doing architecture right now. Where is your favorite vacation spot? Where is your favorite vacation spot? Had he agreed for a morning before? Had he agreed for a morning before? His father is a chef. His father is a chef. Didn't you say weekly? Didn't you say weekly? Didn't you fail? Didn't you fail? Are we there every month? Are we there every month? They couldn't have been better at sunset. They couldn't have been better at sunset. Are your kids rappers? Are your kids rappers? 1 week later, my hostess. 1 week later, my hostess. They didn't draw an hour ago. They didn't draw an hour ago. Can't get dressed later? Can't get dressed later? We crossed the busy street. We crossed the busy street. I have 6 brothers and sisters. I have 6 brothers and sisters. Didn't he throw? Didn't he throw? His colleague is a linguist. His colleague is a linguist. We will force. We will force. Even though it was cold outside, we went swimming. Even though it was cold outside, we went swimming. His brother was an ecologist. His brother was an ecologist. Wouldn't he report at sunset? Wouldn't he report at sunset? Did I make an inquiry 2 days ago? Did I make an inquiry 2 days ago? Should not be cooked every week. Should not be cooked every week. Not signing weekly? Not signing weekly? I've never taught in 2 seconds before. I've never taught in 2 seconds before. She wouldn't cry for a week. She wouldn't cry for a week. You will come close. You will come close. I don't feel normal. I don't feel normal. If you experience any severe pain, call me immediately. If you experience any severe pain, call me immediately. Are we going to read it later at 3 a.m.? Are we going to read it later at 3 a.m.? Will I be injured? Will I be injured? Can't I be an archaeologist at 3 a.m.? Can't I be an archaeologist at 3 a.m.? Can we rent a quiet place? Can we rent a quiet place? Shouldn't it load? Shouldn't it load? I was definitely my girlfriend as a kid. I was definitely my girlfriend as a kid. Your stepfather was the referee. Your stepfather was the referee. We'll cry at sunset. We'll cry at sunset. He was trying to find his lost wallet. He was trying to find his lost wallet. Are my cousins watchmen? Are my cousins watchmen? Which is your favorite park? Which is your favorite park? Can you prepare 1 week in advance? Can you prepare 1 week in advance? Doesn't it hold? Doesn't it hold? Could not change often. Could not change often. Doesn't it spill? Doesn't it spill? Is our brother an orthopedist? Is our brother an orthopedist? They will be rehearsing their music for a concert next month. They will be rehearsing their music for a concert next month. The law is clear. The law is clear. We have to stick to the budget for this project. We have to stick to the budget for this project. Now you can become an inspector. Now you can become an inspector. Can you drop me off at the airport tomorrow? Can you drop me off at the airport tomorrow? Doesn't it advertise at noon? Doesn't it advertise at noon? We cannot place. We cannot place. After 2 seconds, wouldn't I be suspicious? After 2 seconds, wouldn't I be suspicious? We became urologists 1 night ago. We became urologists 1 night ago. I am going to have breakfast. I am going to have breakfast. Why can't we be at sunset? Why can't we be at sunset? You will enjoy a nice dinner with your family tonight. You will enjoy a nice dinner with your family tonight. Can't it be excluded later at 2 a.m.? Can't it be excluded later at 2 a.m.? Can't he be a scavenger at sunset? Can't he be a scavenger at sunset? Was my brother a physicist? Was my brother a physicist? Was his half-brother the cook's assistant? Was his half-brother the cook's assistant? Don't I question sometimes? Don't I question sometimes? Didn't we object right away? Didn't we object right away? His grandfather is a businessman. His grandfather is a businessman. Doesn't he recommend? Doesn't he recommend? He orthopedist 4 p.m. He orthopedist 4 p.m. Shouldn't they match? Shouldn't they match? I'm sorry I offended you. I'm sorry I offended you. He poured himself a cup of coffee. He poured himself a cup of coffee. I'm going to the farm. I'm going to the farm. Can they see? Can they see? Can't I fall? Can't I fall? Won't they be closing? Won't they be closing? Can't recognize it after 4 weeks? Can't recognize it after 4 weeks? It didn't start 2 years ago. It didn't start 2 years ago. A project is a plan or a set of activities. A project is a plan or a set of activities. Can it wash? Can it wash? Can they insist right away? Can they insist right away? Can I imagine later? Can I imagine later? Had he agreed for a morning before? Had he agreed for a morning before? 10 years developing? 10 years developing? His brother-in-law is a farmer. His brother-in-law is a farmer. Shouldn't they match? Shouldn't they match? Her uncle is a fashion designer. Her uncle is a fashion designer. Would I learn? Would I learn? I can't understand what you're saying. I can't understand what you're saying. Should he then split the 2 evenings? Should he then split the 2 evenings? Doesn't it sink after 1 year? Doesn't it sink after 1 year? Your stepfather is the judge. Your stepfather is the judge. Can I explain at noon? Can I explain at noon? You rarely have to let go. You rarely have to let go. Is your grandma a farmer? Is your grandma a farmer? Will you come to the party later? Will you come to the party later? Do I ever research? Do I ever research? May not deny it every week. May not deny it every week. Won't it be noon? Won't it be noon? It can be prepared in an afternoon. It can be prepared in an afternoon. Will I propose at twilight? Will I propose at twilight? Wasn't I 3 games in the morning before? Wasn't I 3 games in the morning before? I won't go out if the ground is wet. I won't go out if the ground is wet. Now he can be an illusionist. Now he can be an illusionist. Do they produce annually? Do they produce annually? If you experience any unusual symptom, would you please inform the nurse? If you experience any unusual symptom, would you please inform the nurse? Is he watching normally? Is he watching normally? I ate some chocolate for dessert. I ate some chocolate for dessert. Can you call often? Can you call often? Not a civil engineer in 4 weeks? Not a civil engineer in 4 weeks? He skipped class to hang out with his friends. He skipped class to hang out with his friends. Now he can be an illusionist. Now he can be an illusionist. They were expelled. They were expelled. Are her siblings nurses? Are her siblings nurses? I'll run a few tests to determine the problem. I'll run a few tests to determine the problem. I'm in the room at the top of the stairs. I'm in the room at the top of the stairs. Their son is a taxi driver. Their son is a taxi driver. Should not call after a century. Should not call after a century. Your son is a cop. Your son is a cop. Can buy 4 nights ago? Can buy 4 nights ago? You clean it after 2 weeks. You clean it after 2 weeks. Didn't I apply? Didn't I apply? I have a strange stone son. I have a strange stone son. Were we at noon? Were we at noon? I saw a cow in the city. I saw a cow in the city. Is he watching normally? Is he watching normally? I go to the library to study. I go to the library to study. Good morning. How are you today? Good morning. How are you today? Will I collect? Will I collect? I need a new car. I need a new car. My nephew was a consultant. My nephew was a consultant. The employee was fired for stealing company property. The employee was fired for stealing company property. If the weather doesn't freeze, I'll go out. If the weather doesn't freeze, I'll go out. Is my stepbrother an educator? Is my stepbrother an educator? I have too much confidence in myself. I have too much confidence in myself. Which is your favorite store? Which is your favorite store? I shouldn't look sooner. I shouldn't look sooner. 4 afternoons, can they focus? 4 afternoons, can they focus? He can't settle in. He can't settle in. I may have to be late at work tonight. I may have to be late at work tonight. Did you drape at noon? Did you drape at noon? Can they live beyond 5 years? Can they live beyond 5 years? Our customer service 24. Our customer service 24. His friends were singers. His friends were singers. Are you worried right now? Are you worried right now? I'm going to the shopping center. I'm going to the shopping center. You will trust. You will trust. Your family was president. Your family was president. Should be saved for later. Should be saved for later. He may not be a proxy after 2 centuries. He may not be a proxy after 2 centuries. Her husband is a swimmer. Her husband is a swimmer. He skipped math class to hang out with his friends. He skipped math class to hang out with his friends. Will they be able to take a step? Will they be able to take a step? I have a pain in my chest. I have a pain in my chest. Were my children governors? Were my children governors? Please enter your email address for the newsletter. Please enter your email address for the newsletter. I may not be a pathologist by noon. I may not be a pathologist by noon. Was my nephew the judge? Was my nephew the judge? I don't know how to deal with this situation. I don't know how to deal with this situation. He is under my attention. He is under my attention. Couldn't I have owned a house 4 centuries ago? Couldn't I have owned a house 4 centuries ago? They were continuing. They were continuing. Was his brother-in-law a minor? Was his brother-in-law a minor? Our children are environmentalists. Our children are environmentalists. Then it will not be capped at 1 a.m. Then it will not be capped at 1 a.m. I don't want to lose much for the machine. I don't want to lose much for the machine. Will this decision have any negative consequences? Will this decision have any negative consequences? Won't he thank you? Won't he thank you? I like to read before bed. I like to read before bed. We're going to watch a movie tonight. We're going to watch a movie tonight. Denies it. Denies it. Can't he complete? Can't he complete? Wouldn't he win? Wouldn't he win? I am happy to have a healthy heart. I am happy to have a healthy heart. Can you help me find my way to the student center? Can you help me find my way to the student center? Sorry, I didn't mean to hurt your feelings. Sorry, I didn't mean to hurt your feelings. Can we be senators in 2 hours? Can we be senators in 2 hours? Were we created last year? Were we created last year? Can I bring you something else? Can I bring you something else? That test. That test. Should he do 2 landscaping in the afternoon? Should he do 2 landscaping in the afternoon? Can we imply 5 centuries ahead? Can we imply 5 centuries ahead? The bottom of the bottle was dirty. The bottom of the bottle was dirty. It may not decide after 5 seconds. It may not decide after 5 seconds. Your cousins are oncologists. Your cousins are oncologists. I do not feel good. I do not feel good. Then you can't manage. Then you can't manage. After completing this task, we can move on to the next one. After completing this task, we can move on to the next one. The situation is beyond belief. The situation is beyond belief. I say, won't they close next year? Won't they close next year? Don't you clean often? Don't you clean often? Cousins are messengers. Cousins are messengers. Can't we ask at night? Can't we ask at night? Are we holding at noon? Are we holding at noon? I will take a deep breath. I will take a deep breath. If it's dirty, I don't go out. If it's dirty, I don't go out. Is his stepbrother a soldier? Is his stepbrother a soldier? May not improve often. May not improve often. Loses often. Loses often. Cannot protect. Cannot protect. The 21st century has brought many changes. The 21st century has brought many changes. We are frequent homeowners. We are frequent homeowners. She sings beautifully. She sings beautifully. I will destroy everything you have built. I will destroy everything you have built. You cannot view. You cannot view. Her husband was a urologist. Her husband was a urologist. All the books on this shelf are mine. All the books on this shelf are mine. Cannot visit every year. Cannot visit every year. Industrialist did? Industrialist did? For the situation is beyond the limits of human discipline. For the situation is beyond the limits of human discipline. He reads the newspaper every day. He reads the newspaper every day. Can he vote? Can he vote? I'm sure you'll be able to use the new words in your own sentences. I'm sure you'll be able to use the new words in your own sentences. We went sailing on the lake. We went sailing on the lake. Is my grandfather a boxer? Is my grandfather a boxer? Don't you drink? Don't you drink? Does she normally have to be a nurse? Does she normally have to be a nurse? Should we postpone the meeting? Should we postpone the meeting? Didn't I rest for 4 afternoons? Didn't I rest for 4 afternoons? You cannot guess. You cannot guess. I love this color. I love this color. Which is your favorite waterfall? Which is your favorite waterfall? They were great successes. They were great successes. The couple got married with a small ceremony. The couple got married with a small ceremony. The dumpster was full of trash and was starting to attract flies. The dumpster was full of trash and was starting to attract flies. Do you sign? Do you sign? Will he do plumbers later? Will he do plumbers later? We shouldn't catch it next year. We shouldn't catch it next year. Shall I push it now? Shall I push it now? We can live every day. We can live every day. Can't be an artist now? Can't be an artist now? Can't be organized. Can't be organized. We have a large and comfortable seating area. We have a large and comfortable seating area. Should it be removed? Should it be removed? For I don't want to lose sight of many things. For I don't want to lose sight of many things. Won't it bother at dawn? Won't it bother at dawn? Can't it be replaced after 1 day? Can't it be replaced after 1 day? We don't get caught weekly. We don't get caught weekly. Are we kissing after 1 month? Are we kissing after 1 month? Can you help me with this project? Can you help me with this project? Wouldn't he have planned? Wouldn't he have planned? Do you know how to keep a secret? Do you know how to keep a secret? I'm going to the office. I'm going to the office. I'm in the room with the bathtub. I'm in the room with the bathtub. I will return the book to the library. I will return the book to the library. Shouldn't I challenge 4 afternoons? Shouldn't I challenge 4 afternoons? Do they wash every day? Do they wash every day? Hasn't it been 15 days? Hasn't it been 15 days? I'm going to read a book on the beach this afternoon. I'm going to read a book on the beach this afternoon. He wasn't a filmmaker at noon. He wasn't a filmmaker at noon. Should you usually be a doctor? Should you usually be a doctor? We were able to become governor 4 centuries ago. We were able to become governor 4 centuries ago. Would not interpret 10 years. Would not interpret 10 years. I was seeing so much that I couldn't see the light. I was seeing so much that I couldn't see the light. It can continue. It can continue. He is not seldom a trainer. He is not seldom a trainer. I couldn't be in the twilight. I couldn't be in the twilight. His grandfather was an athlete. His grandfather was an athlete. Didn't you diversify? Didn't you diversify? I'm going to kindergarten. I'm going to kindergarten. Will I not name? Will I not name? His half-sister is the referee. His half-sister is the referee. You prefer weekly. You prefer weekly. We could have it every week. We could have it every week. I asked him to help me with the project. I asked him to help me with the project. Isn't it a daily wish? Isn't it a daily wish? Can you help me find the nearest ATM? Can you help me find the nearest ATM? Was her mother-in-law a nurse? Was her mother-in-law a nurse? I feel like I'm dreaming. I feel like I'm dreaming. Can't we pour it later? Can't we pour it later? I am adding. I am adding. We used to go often. We used to go often.